All righty, folks. Well, day 2 of Jasmine Crockett's new Senate campaign launch did not include another rapper.
Let's get into it.
Okay, she ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Always willing to go toe-to-toe against the president.
No rapper on day 2 of her launch, but it still maintained plenty of Jasmine's ridiculous delusions and notions, starting with how Jasmine Crockett believes she can Mamdani her way into Texas Senate seats.
Let me tell you something. Mamdani has not backed down whatsoever from his rhetoric against the president. In the Oval Office, he stood there and he said what he said about him being a fascist, yet he was able to win those voters. So Democrats that believe the only way that you can win is by being soft and sounding like a Republican, that is not true. What people are looking for are people that are tough and are fighters and are going to fight for them.
I mean, who's going to vote for this woman? Are you kidding me? Texas, you better come out. CNN's Jake Tapper decided to do some journalisming for a change. Probably still embarrassed about referring to a black man as the white man on air last week. Remember when he thought it was a white man who was actually a black guy who committed the crime? Jake decided to actually ask Jasmine Crockett a difficult question for a change, specifically about this article from Vanity Fair in which she said that Trump-voting Latinos have a slave mentality. And of course, Jasmine rolled out the usual Democrat trope of what you heard is not what you actually heard.
It almost reminds me of what people would talk about when they would talk about kind of like slave mentality and the hate that some slaves would have for themselves. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have. Now, about the time that was published last year, around 1 million Latino voters in Texas were voting for Trump. Do they all have slave mentality?
No, and that's not what that said at all, to be clear. It did not say that every Latino has that type of mentality.
No, but the ones that vote for people who believe in strong or Trump's immigration policies.
So I don't believe that the people that voted for Trump believe in what they're actually getting.
No, so the Democrats, especially Jasmine Crockett, who, Democrat by definition, they lie, and most politicians do, by the way, said, oh, I didn't say that. Well, you actually did say that. You wrote it, too. Remember, the internet's a funny thing. It kind of lives forever, Jazzy Jasmine. Tapper also decided to ask Jasmine Crockett about that weird launch ad that went up on YouTube with just President Trump's voice over Jasmine's face. She turns a couple of times. And of course, her defense of that comical video went just as you would expect it to.
Your official announcement is just a video of you and an image of you while insults of President Trump of you play in the background. Why that decision? I mean, one of your opponents, Tallarico, he had a video, him with constituents, him with Texans. Why you solo?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. Number one, I wanted to do something different. Because number one, in order to flip the state of Texas, we're going to have to do something that we've never done. So I wanted to stay on brand with the fact that we would be different. I also wanted people to understand who the president sees as a real threat, and it is me.
No, lady, your brand isn't different. Your brand is Trump derangement syndrome, and you think there are enough liberals in Texas to vote you into a Senate seat, the very important Senate seat, because they don't like Trump either. You're out of your mind. It ain't going to happen. It hasn't happened in decades. It's not going to happen this time around. As expected, the ladies of The View are supporting Jasmine Crockett's wild notions and honestly believing that she stands a chance at a Texas Senate seat. But what's even more ridiculous is why they believe that.
This is my frustration. If purely being against Donald Trump was a winning strategy, Dems would have beat him in 2016 and they would have beat him in 2024. I would have loved to hear, I'm Jasmine Crockett and I'm going to fight for affordability. I'm going to fight for the working class. I'm going to bring manufacturing back. Talking about issues, Texans aren't looking for you to take on Donald Trump. They just want competent leadership for the state.
Texans are plain-spoken people, just like everybody else. They know that the economy is going down, down, down. He's underwater with the American people. His approval rate is 39% or something, and with Hispanics, it's 38%. And she assumes that they read and that they can see that the economy is in the toilets.
You know, that's pretty amazing, Joy Behar. I mean, do you remember the last 4 years, Joe Biden? You want to talk about the economy, 9% inflation. Wages were going down, inflation was going up, people were getting squeezed. Now, I do think things are getting better under Trump, but they could be a lot better. I think he should lean into some of these titans of business. Anyway, on to the next one. The subject of having no clue whatsoever about the economy, the insistence of clueless lefties to go on the air and speak as though they're financial gurus, always comical to me. But Joy Reid takes some time out of being racist to be, I don't know, stupid.
I can't imagine the job of the next president to have to fix this mess, because this is a mess. Like, he's going to lead. I mean, I'm assuming 2026 we end up in a recession. I'm just assuming that. And I think people should brace themselves for the economy to get really bad, because when a small number of people get rich and you don't expand the middle, and when the bottom gets poorer, there's no way to sustain an economy like that anybody can really benefit from. I mean, Trump is benefiting, his friends are benefiting. Who else? It's not good.
And you know what you did there, Joy Reid? You described Joe Biden's 4 years, where the middle class gets squeezed. Prices were going up, wages were stagnant or going down, and your budgets were busted. Trump is trying to turn that around. I'll tell you what else. Joe Biden raised taxes. Trump is trying to lower taxes for everybody. That helps the middle class out. These people are just, I think if they say it and say it enough, they'll start believing in themselves, and hopefully the people who are saying it to start to believe it. I'm not sure if it's working. That's got to be their plan. In other socialist news, Zoran Mamdani, who promised everyone free stuff with no clue how to pay for it, is airing yet another ad begging New Yorkers for donations just weeks before he takes office as mayor of the big rotten apple.
Time flies. Believe it or not, we have just a few weeks left before I take office as the next mayor of New York City. But before then, I would like to quote the great senator from Vermont. I'm once again asking for your support. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about why we need it. We've had a full plate getting ready for January. We're reviewing the more than 70,000 resumes we received, setting up our transition committees, naming our appointees who'll turn policy into practice, and planning and budgeting for an inauguration celebration we are so excited to share with you soon. All so we can start delivering on our affordability agenda from day one, without skipping a beat.
Yeah, your affordability crap. You run out of people's money to give to other people's. Again, the makers make enough. They can't give enough. They're already taxed at the highest rate in the whole entire country. He wants to raise taxes more. Eventually, the takers will all flood to New York, and the makers will leave. It's going to be a hellhole. Even worse than it is already. Leftists still can't get it through their thick heads that DEI is one of the most poisonous policies in the world. I'll tell you what. They're not going to. They're going to still play with it, but it's always fun watching them play around. Watch.
Anti-DEI is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. You're opposing diversity and equity and inclusion. Why? What is wrong with any of those things? And I think that to attack these notions is a dog whistle to the worst elements of society that are seeing us slide towards a more fascistic world. And every politician who engages in that should be ashamed of themselves.
Meritocracy works. It's always worked. The free market, the capitalist market. Call me a capitalist pig because I am. Gosh darn it. I almost said the wrong word. All right, just finishing off with yet another ridiculous moment on The View, in which Sunny Hostin proves yet again that the left not only condones violence and killing, but also celebrates those who defend them and want criminals right back out in the streets.
You know, I think the system is doing what it's supposed to do. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. That is our system here, and I think that needs to be that needs to be expected. And I do know these defense attorneys. Actually, I know Karen Agnifilo extremely well. She is the best of the best, and she was a former prosecutor, and so I know for sure that he is getting the best defense. And don't we want that? I think we do want people who allegedly murdered a CEO, a young person with all the potential in the world, to have a defense, and so that if he is convicted, he is rightfully convicted.
She's defending the convicted murderers, that Ilhan Omar defending the Somalis who stole $1 billion from the people of Minnesota. They defend the criminals at the expense of the citizens. What a shock. All right, folks, nobody warns men about this phase of life, when the money's good, but something just still feels empty. Patrick Bet-David hit that wall and made a move most men are afraid to make.
Because to me, I'm like, is this it? I know Dad's retired. He's not working at the 99-cent store again. And I'm just not happy. I'm not content, because to me, I'm like, is this it? Am I just supposed to make money and that is it? Because that's not going to be the case for me. I need more than that.
You know, and that's what we tap into. We tap into the motivations. We tap into the performance, men's performance, and we tap into how men who've fallen get back up. Real risk isn't falling. Real risk is not getting back up. If you stay where you don't belong, that is where the conversation ends. That's where we pick it up on The Edge. Now, hit that QR code right there with your phone. Show the camera to that. Hit the yellow line. You will subscribe again. It really, really means a lot to us. We're growing so fast, so big. You're part of the movement. We want you part of the movement. I asked to see if we can get to 7,000 by the end of the year. We're at 7,300 already. We might get to 8,000 by the end of the year at this rate because of you. Thank you for your subscription. It means the world to us. Never charge you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you watching Raph. Appreciate you supporting me, and really, you support me by subscribing to The Edge. Eric Bolling, The Edge on YouTube. YouTube.com/@EricBollingTheEdge. Please subscribe. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.